Live from Stadium Field on the campus of Darien High School, it's Varsity Boys Lacrosse on the DAF Media Network. This afternoon, it's the Darien Blue Wave taking on the Yorktown Huskers. Hi, everybody. I'm Damian Andrews. So glad you could be with us for this DAF Media broadcast. The DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. And we have a good one this afternoon. We will be joined momentarily by Jim Book, the former Duke lacrosse star. And joining us also this afternoon will be the athletic director from Yorktown High School, a guy I've gotten to know over the last year or so, Rob Barrett. So glad to have him with us. But we are just about ready to go for this one. Yorktown comes into the game 2-0, off to a good start. They play out of Section 1 in New York State. And Darien, this is their season opener on a sun-splashed, beautiful day here. Temperatures in the 60s here in Darien, Connecticut. Not a better way to get the spring sports season started here in Darien. And I'll welcome in Rob Barrett. Rob?
How are you?
How are you?
Long time no see.
I didn't, you came in hot. I didn't know if you were coming or not, but I'm glad to have you here. And Jim Book will be joining us momentarily, but we are just about ready to go. Your Yorktown Huskers off to a very good start, 2-0 out of the gate so far.
Yeah, no complaints. 2 wins against Section 1 teams of high caliber, so we're feeling pretty good about our start. Some things to clean up, and I saw the boys working hard in practice over the last couple of days to do that.
And, of course, you beat Mamaroneck and Fox Lane, 2 good wins in your neck of the woods. And we are just about ready to go here at Face-Off X.
Little traffic on 95, by the way.
Little traffic on 95.
That
is always the case, and we are just about ready to go. Matt Freeman for Darien. And for Yorktown, your face-off specialist is number 37, and that's Brendan Williams. And Darien wins the face-off, and a nice save by O'Meara early on, just moments into this one. The goalie, Dan O'Meara, the senior. And here's a shot, and that's a goal for Michael Minikis, the junior. Gets it started here for the Blue Wave, 1-0. Nice left-handed shot. And we're going to take another look at this. The nice pass by Hudson Picorni sets up Minikis, and he is able to beat O'Meara. So Darien on the board quickly as we take another look from behind here. And Minikis scores to put the Blue Wave up 1-0. And it's Freeman again. And Williams, and Freeman wins the faceoff. Gets it to Minikis, and Darien will go on the attack. You can see there the goal by Michael Minikis, assisted by Hudson Picorni. The senior had a chance to talk to him before this one got started. Excited for the season. Darien in the home whites this afternoon, moving from left to right. Yorktown in the green, and the black shorts moving from right to left. And Darien sets up. Minikis swings it to Feifel. And the shot by Rupenstein is saved by O'Meara. And here comes Yorktown as they now go on the attack for the first time this afternoon. Shane Dalkey, number 29, one of the captains. Keep an eye on him. The big fella up top is Blake Borges, and he's a player, Rob.
Yes, he's a young man, only a sophomore, but has really come on strong here early in the season, scoring a number of goals in his first 2 games.
And a turnover here, and Darien scoops it up. Bruce Ferguson. And here's Jackson Peters. Jackson Peters, nice pass off the post. Henry Feifel was right there on the doorstep.
So Dan O'Meara started off nice and quick this game so far with a couple of saves, but he's been doing that from the beginning of the season as the defense is starting to come together. Obviously, a bunch of new guys on the defensive side for Yorktown.
This was a game played in Yorktown a year ago. It was the opener for Darien. Great facility you have there at Yorktown High School, Rob, and what a game it ended up being.
I would say likewise for those facilities here. You guys got a beautiful setup here.
As Darien won 13-11 in that one. 6 goals in the third quarter was the big difference in that one. Darien went on a 6-0 third quarter run, then held off Yorktown. Yorktown making it close late, scoring 4 straight goals to cut the lead to 2, but Darien able to hold on and win 13-11.
That's the nice thing about these types of games is they're a good test for when you play non-regional opponents, and you kind of get a feel for what you're really going to be like as the season goes on.
And right now it's 1-0 Darien, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. About 8 minutes left in the first quarter as Yorktown now goes to work here. There's Dulkey. Over to Reese Andrews. Reese Andrews at X for Yorktown. Senior attack. There's Reagan. Reagan with possession here. Brings it out. Gets it to Spencer Norris. And a shot is wide of the far post. The shot by Shane Dulkey.
Shane will be playing at Marist next year for the Red Foxes.
Yeah, a number of the players on the field this afternoon, obviously, will play at the next level in college. And we will sprinkle that color in throughout this broadcast. There's Finnegan as Reagan bobbles it, regains possession. He's guarded by Ryan Darby. Ryan Darby's brother, Andrew, of course, playing at the University of Michigan. He was a defenseman here at Darien, had a terrific high school career. Here comes Yorktown, looking for a seam in that Darien defense here early on. 1-0 Blue Wave. Damian Andrew, Rob Barrett joining you. Thanks for joining us. We will be joined in a little while by Jim Book. And ball's on the turf. And that's going to be Darien possession. Again, the Blue Wave in the home whites this afternoon. Season opener here at Stadium Field on just a gorgeous afternoon in Darien, Connecticut.
I'd like to say it's just much better than our opener last week when we were 37 degrees and windy.
It was 37 degrees windy. That was a night game, I believe, too.
No, it was an afternoon game.
It was an afternoon game?
But it felt like a night game.
It did feel like a night game.
People were leaving at halftime to go get blankets and stuff.
Yeah, it was cold. And no goal there. A nice save by O'Meara. O'Meara, a terrific goalie for Yorktown. Does a nice job, the senior. Played well last year in spots in this game.
Yeah, we're lucky. We have Dan returning as a senior, and we have a sophomore, one of the Norris brothers, who I hear great things about. So our goalie situation is pretty good here at Yorktown from what I gather. And Dan's heading off to Marist as well to play for the Red Foxes. So him and Shane will get to continue their playing career for the next 4 years together.
Yorktown now has possession. Keegan Dollar, nice pass in front. Nice stop by Andy Demopoulos, and the sophomore goalie is off to a good start. Feifel scores. Henry Feifel going the other way, and Darien takes a 2-0 lead. So at 4:36 left in the opening quarter as we take another look. Nice job by our camera crew there. Matthew Burke, Harrison Bell doing a terrific job as we take another look at this. You see Feifel left side of your screen, little bounce shot there, finds the back of the net, and Darien finds itself with a 2-0 lead here in the first quarter. Williams and Freeman at face-off X. And ground ball, who wants it? And that rolls out of bounds. It'll be Yorktown possession.
Good job,
Matthew Freeman, the face-off specialist for Darien, comes off the field. And Yorktown now. Darien's ride, and ball is on the turf. And that's going to be Yorktown ball. And here we go. So glad to have Yorktown Athletic Director Rob Barrett with us on a beautiful afternoon here in Darien, Connecticut, as the Yorktown Huskers set up shop. Blake Borges swings it to Andrews, and here's Tim O'Callahan out to Borges. Borges just a sophomore, as we mentioned moments ago, and he stands tall out on that turf. And that's a bounce shot, and that is good as Shane Dulkey, the senior attack, scores for Yorktown. And the Huskers cut the Darien lead to 1 with 3:34 left in the opening quarter. As we take another look here, here's Dulkey, and he just lets it rip. Bounce shot, back of the net.
Yeah, I'm happy to see him being aggressive. Sometimes he's looking to set up his teammates, and scores sometimes need to be a little selfish at times.
And Shane Dulkey with the goal, the senior, number 29, and it's a 2-1 game here. Good crowd on hand for this one, as you'd expect. Two great lacrosse communities, Rob. You know it well in Yorktown. A lot of tradition, a lot of tremendous players that went on to have outstanding college careers at the Division I level. Same thing here in Darien with the Darien program.
Yeah, it's a way of life, right?
Absolutely. They start young, and that's why the high school programs have been so successful through the years. And this is a rivalry that dates back to the late 80s.
Yes,
between Yorktown and Darien.
I've heard a tremendous amount of stories about it for sure. Many great games, and like you said, many great college players that have come through, played in this game.
And it's actually become now the Tom Lenner Memorial Trophy game.
Who I hear was an outstanding fan of both.
Both communities. Lived in Westchester. I talked to Darien head coach Jeff Braymeyer about Mr. Lenner, and he was a Westchester County resident and just had a great affection for both lacrosse programs, and he would be there with his scorebook and keeping score, and it's nice to keep his memory alive in this annual rivalry game, non-conference game between Darien and Yorktown. Here's Dulkey. Dylan Beck, part of that second line middies for Yorktown. Back to Reagan. Back to Beck. And he is at X where he will operate. Brings it out. It's to Spencer Norris, who Rob just alluded to a little while ago.
He's one of 2 Norris boys on the team, the other one being the goalie, who's a sophomore. I know Coach is looking for great things from both of them.
And the ball is on the turf and scooped up by Darien, Sam Cragen. And here comes the Blue Wave on the move. And shot is wide there of the near post. Minikis up top to Pierce Hoyta, and his shot is saved by Dan O'Meara. Blake Seller with a nice job defensively the last time down for Darien. There's Borges with possession, being hounded by Connor Olson. Connor Olson, of course, played soccer in the fall here for the Blue Wave. And that ball goes off the side of the net. Here's O'Callahan. Of course, no shot clock in high school lacrosse, but there is an end of quarter buzzer, and it just rang. And after the first quarter, it is 2-1 Darien. We are just getting started here on the DAF Media Network, a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation.
To our Rock the Yacht benefit on April 27th. They'll be dancing to sing-along hits from the 70s and 80s, performed by Yacht Rock Review. The seaside setting and water views at the Tokenie Club make the perfect summer kickoff. Since 1998, the Darien Foundation has awarded more than $4 million in grants to benefit and enhance our community. For more information and to buy tickets, go to darienfoundation.org.
We are back here live on the DAF Media Network. Damian Andrew, joined by Yorktown Athletic Director Rob Barrett. Jim Book should be joining us momentarily. And the second quarter is underway. 2-1 Darien with the lead. And Darien comes up with it as Matthew Freeman with possession. Gets it to Michael Minikis. And Jim Book is going to hop in here. He's fresh off a game. We'll make our introductions.
I got to stop breathing.
take a breath. I'll mute you while you catch your breath. But Damian Andrew alongside Jim Book and Yorktown Athletic Director Rob Barrett. And We are just underway here in the second quarter. Darien off to a 2-1 lead. That shot is out of bounds. It'll be Darien possession, though, as Holt Mathias with the ball and gets it out to Jackson Peters. Jackson Peters, of course, on his way to Navy now. Michael Minikis at X with possession. And here's Darien. Feifel on the far side of the field. Nice move and a nice stop by O'Meara in front. Ball's on the turf, kicked around. And that'll be Yorktown possession. And I think we've got somebody dinged up here on the field as O'Meara. He seems to be okay. Well, Jim, welcome in. Jim
Thank
Book
you.
joins
Thank
us.
The freshman,
the former
freshman just had a great battle with Don Bosco and went to overtime, so I couldn't leave my guys.
Oh, absolutely. No,
very fun to watch.
No, absolutely. We Rob Barrett, the Yorktown athletic
Pleasure.
director, joining us, and Jim Book, of course, so instrumental in Darien youth lacrosse through the years. His son and his daughter both played here at Darien. His daughter is now at the Naval Academy, doing great things down there. And
certainly working hard.
Absolutely.
Certainly working hard.
Absolutely. And, of course, Jim played his college lacrosse at Duke. And I was saying to Rob earlier in the first quarter, so many terrific players who you will see at the next level, whether it's Division I or Division III.
Yeah, absolutely. And I grew up a Wilton product myself, so the Yorktown game for us was always one of the biggest on the schedule by far. It's just a tremendous tradition in the town. We've got a lot of friends who played there. And do they still have the Yorktown Sports Barn?
Yes,
That's still set up.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
so
a long.
you
That's
go
a
out to the
staple.
barn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. But really an awesome program with tremendous tradition. So really fun to get these guys together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Darien-Yorktown rivalry has been a long and storied one, as has the Wilton-Yorktown rivalry. Of course, one of the legends, Guy Witten,
My coach.
kind of the really the one of the forefathers of high school lacrosse, certainly in Southwest Connecticut, if not the entire Northeast. And here's Yorktown with possession now as they try to tie things up here, score the equalizer. Dalkey.
Oh, boy.
And a nice move, and no goal. And Jim, we mentioned at the outset, of course, Darien with sophomore goalie Andy Demopoulos. I know a lot of big things expected out of him, and so far he has lived up to the billing. Talented sophomore, big in stature, and technically very sound. Here comes Darien going the other way, and that ball sails out of bounds on the shot by Bruce Ferguson.
Yeah, Andy is really, I got to see Andy play a little bit this fall, and he really, he's got quite a presence out there. I'll tell you, just as impressive to me is his brother George, who is also there. He's a senior, and the camaraderie that they have and the dynamic that they have is just great. I've spoken to George, and a lot of seniors might be bummed out that they're not getting their look, and but I think his view is, geez, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be my brother. I'm 100% good with that. So I've watched the dynamic there. I think they both make each other better, and so it's a great thing. So.
Well said. Couldn't be prouder of his younger brother. 2 years difference.
Tommy Hellman.
And over to Feifel. Feifel with possession near or far side of the field. And that's a goal as Henry Feifel buries it between the pipes, moving to his left, as we're going to take another look at that.
This is their Tiger set, which you'll hear all the time coming out of the coaches. It's a wide set, and he gets a chance to make a wing dodge here. And Henry Feifel, is he going on a short stick there? I couldn't quite tell, but Henry Feifel coming off the wing is pretty tough to beat. So that's a good matchup for us. Yeah, I think he had a short stick there.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And one of the things that's great about Jeff's offense, the way that he runs it, is it really is a bunch of sets that allows for creativity that takes place on the field, so the players understand what they're doing and where they're supposed to be. Where we want to break. Get another one. Nice shot by Hudson Picorni right there, captain.
Hudson Picorni, a couple of hockey players scoring the last 2 goals. Picorni scores, he buries it. And, you mentioned, we were talking about Feifel as we are going to take a look, I believe, at this Picorni goal. We're a little bit behind there, but here we go.
This
Hudson
is just a
McCorney.
good sort of 3/4, almost sidearm, but really still keeps 3/4. Gets a little skip underneath the goalie stick, sort of bouncing it right off the top of the crease there. It's a great place to place the ball, get into the far pipe.
We saw Feifel score, followed by Picorni. So back-to-back goals for Darien. They increased their lead to 4-1. I asked Henry before the game on the field, I said, so now you go from the mindset of not giving up a goal.
Right.
One of the best high school, public school hockey goalies in the state of Connecticut, and now he's a top-notch attackman who will play at Drexel, and now he goes to the mindset of scoring goals.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, and he's quite capable of it. I've seen him play for a few years now. He really can create offense, and I think Jeff's aware of that. So, you know, he can create a spark to create a lot of opportunities for other people. So even if he's not getting the immediate assist, I think a lot of times you'll see him initiate offense for the team here. We got Holt Mathias 6 in the X. Decent look inside.
As Jack Bogdan was right there on the doorstep, but couldn't convert. You mentioned Holt Mathias. He is the younger brother of Case Mathias, who had a standout career here at Darien. And that is a nice save by O'Meara. And, of course, Case went on to play and win a couple of national championships at your alma mater down at Duke.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and he's a great kid, too. Case, always been great with the younger guys. Actually, I'll tell you something funny. When Case was in 5th grade, we somehow or another heisted a Yorktown alum named Dom Finn.
Okay.
Dom was we made him the 5th grade travel coach, and that's when Case was in 5th grade. And I remember that was an immediate love connection, the two of them, that Dommy was calling me up because I was involved with, you know, some of the organizational part of it, and he's saying, "Oh, Coach, I think I got one here. I think I got one here." So Dom would like to take credit for most of Case's success.
Why not?
Exactly. But no, that was a good group. We had that whole group that went through was with Henry West was in. I mean, that was a tremendous class that came through here. And they all got to play for Dom way back in the day, and they had a real special bond with him. I think he kept coming to their games all the way through high school. So.
Yeah, the nice thing about Yorktown is that they are invested in giving back to the sport of lacrosse. And
right.
It's amazing how many alum we have coaching throughout the area, and,
right.
you know, in tri-state area.
Right. Well, I just ran into Joe Borges coaching the JV team. I mean, he played at Yorktown when I was, so I was class of '87. He was class of '88.
Okay.
So we played against each other.
And his son is on the varsity here. Yeah, he's a sophomore.
He's a stud. But Joe's a super guy, and so I was happy to see that. Do they still do that big? They do a big youth lacrosse. Is it the
Charlie Murphy?
The Charlie Murphy tournament, right?
Big tournament
big
comes up
tournament.
at the end of June.
It's fantastic.
So
As we take a look at Sean Carney, the Yorktown head coach, on the sidelines, and we are back to live action here on the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Damian Andrew alongside Jim Book and Rob Barrett, the Yorktown athletic director. Yorktown moving from left to right on your screen. Here's Borges with possession. He gets it to Reese Andrews as Yorktown swings it around in their offensive half of the field.
Yorktown did a good job on that clear. Darien tried to jump into a 10-man ride, and they recognized it right away and pushed everybody forward so that they couldn't get the full pressure on.
That hit the pipe, and Demopoulos swings it out to Pierce Hoyta, and here goes Darien on the move.
Sam Cragen.
Cragen, a junior, and that shot is sails over the crossbar. Cragen, he's played since his freshman year and really has developed into a nice defenseman. The junior, still undecided on where he will play in college.
It'll be somewhere that's a very good academic institution. I can guarantee
cerebral.
you that. He's a very good student.
You were with me, Jim, when I was talking to Coach B yesterday for a few minutes, and we almost read each other's mind because I said cerebral and he said cerebral. First word that came to mind about Sam Cragen.
Right.
And that will stay Darien ball. 4-1 here, 6:20 left in the second quarter. Ryan Darby. He lets one fly, and a nice stop by O'Meara. Yorktown looks to go. Keith Boyer, the long stick defenseman, taking it all the way, and he scores. And he found an opening, and he converts as Yorktown is fired up on the sidelines. Boyer with the goal, and it's 4-2 Darien. And we take another look at this. How about the long pole on the move?
Well, I'll tell you, Damien, you know, one of the things about playing a team like Yorktown, I mean, when you see a good program that really understands the game, riding and clearing is key. And they know how to do it. So I already mentioned that they broke our 10-man ride right away.
Yep.
Once again here, make a smart play, recognize exactly what's going on. The defense is trying to collapse, and he just pressed the ball and got himself a high-quality shot and stuck it.
So Keith's brother's currently playing at Notre Dame as a freshman this year, and I'm seeing ample time from what I hear. So
I didn't realize that was his brother.
Runs in the
Absolutely.
family, yeah.
He's playing a lot. He's playing a tremendous amount.
And he is a teammate of a former Darien defensive stalwart, Arden Cohen at Notre Dame, who had a terrific career here and is doing the same at Notre Dame.
Well, it's one of the fun things about playing, you know, we talk about the FCAC and Southwestern Connecticut, but you've also got the Westchester towns, which these guys get to know each other. And then when they go on to college, they really, you know, they play. A lot of kids play in the Sound Shore League that's over at SUNY Purchase, and they all get to know each other. So, you know, when you go on to the next level, it's a fun experience because, you know, it's guys are, you know, whether they're at D1 schools, D3 schools, they all know each other, and they're all pulling for each other. So it's a lot of fun.
The relationships form quickly.
Absolutely.
With that common bond.
Absolutely. Yep. So here's Henry. They're going to put him up at midfield here. Put him on a short stick and see what he can do. It's one of the looks they've.
And the shot by Minikis is wide of the far post. So shifty, Feifel. It's so fun, such a contradiction to what he is as a goalie. Stands tall between those pipes on the ice.
Well, this is all stuff that you probably covered before I got on, Damien. But, you know, one of the things that's good save there by the keep.
Oh, Miro with a save on the Jackson Peters shot.
So I was going to say, you know, one of the things that's interesting about Darien is, you know, year in and year out, each time you say, oh, well, they graduated a bunch of guys, and so this year they got a whole new wave of guys, and they got so many that they got so many attackmen that they want to, you know, try Feifel up at midfield a little bit because they got attackmen that they want to try to get on the field. So, you know, they've got bodies, they've got depth, and they've got bodies, and that's just something.
Success.
It's exactly it's a luxury, you know, and you got young guys coming up the pike as well. But you know, this year especially, there's a whole lot of new guys getting a lot of new minutes, and you know, they're playing like veterans.
And it's scooped up here by Jackson Peters across midfield, and Darien on the attack now.
What people forget is that those guys were going against those guys that left in practice every day last year, so they were getting them prepared. You know, we see that with our groups too. When you have kids going off to big-time schools, you got to play against those guys in practice every day, so you can't help but get better.
Yep.
There's O'Meara out of the crease. As he gets to Reagan, we've got a whistle. And we've got
call the timeout. So that time Darien was able to get their 10-man on. I don't know if I'm sure the camera didn't pick it up, but the goal was empty at the other end, and basically the goalie jumps out on one of the players, and the entire defense moves forward. And if they can get themselves into a position where they can cover everybody at the midfield, there's really no open bodies. So they had good pressure down at the far end, not trying to necessarily take the ball away, but just do enough to make it so that they can't get the ball upfield, and then they've got their consideration around the timelines. I don't, frankly, remember what the timelines. They change it so often, and you watch a college game now. They've got a possession clock. It's so much easier for a guy like me just to look at the clock and say, "Hey, we got 20 seconds to get over. Then we got our shot clock." But you know, I'm not quite sure what the timeline is right now, Damien. I don't know if you remember at the high school level federation rules. You know, they haven't quite caught up to the college rules yet. You'll notice one of the things here is the substitution box is 10 yards on either side of the sideline in high school. In college, it went back to 5 yards on either side. So this is a 20-yard substitution area, which actually allows for a fair amount of gamesmanship. how you take advantage of those extra yards there.
Just want to point out, Coach Jeff Braymeyer, in his 36th season, you've known him for a long time. He is the founding father of this Darien program and has just done a tremendous job. I always joke with him whenever I see him, although I didn't yesterday. I go, how does a college baseball player become one of the great top high school lacrosse programs, not only in this state and in this region, but in the entire country now?
Yeah.
Obviously, national champs 2 years ago, and just has done wonderful things with the Blue Wave program. And you're heavily involved, obviously, at the youth level, Jim, and have been for a long time, and that's a big reason. Just like in Yorktown, where they start them young, and the feeder programs are very good. Here we go now. We're almost under 3 minutes left in the first half. Just a gorgeous afternoon. Temperatures in the 60s here. Damian Andrew, Jim Book, and Rob Barrett joining you. Thanks for joining us in the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. And we'll give a shout out to our production crew in just a moment, who have done a terrific job here in the first half, bringing you all the sights and the sounds of this one.
So Yorktown looks like they're trying to work on our short stick D-midi, which is Bruce Ferguson. They're trying to get him, isolate on him if they can. You just saw Bruce switch with Tyler Strube there, because they're basically, so they're going to try to isolate on him right here. So a lot of teams will do this when they get a short stick on a matchup that they like. But I'll tell you, Bruce Ferguson's a pretty good short stick defender. I've seen him in person. He's quite effective that way.
Top notch. He will play at Colgate and rejoin Darien teammate Brian Minikis, who is up there, and his college career off to a good start, Jim, for Colgate.
I think the Ferguson family, I think a few of them went to Colgate, maybe all of them.
His father did. His father did, yeah. His father did. His father, Bruce, did.
Sister's there, I believe.
Yep, his sister Ellen is there. And I can tell you firsthand the Fergusons are all in on Colgate.
I told Bruce the other week I was up there. Navy played up there, and I think it was one of the coldest lacrosse games I've ever been on the sideline for.
We opened up last weekend, and I was just saying,
yeah,
37 degrees and windy was not a good way to open up. This is much better.
Yeah.
And I said to Rob, and I were talking before you joined us, last year in this very game at Yorktown, it was a cold afternoon in Yorktown, New York.
Here's Tommy Hellman. He's got a short stick. They're back in there. That wing dodging, oh, that's a nice look, but he probably should have been a little more unselfish. He had a great look at the goal there, but he tried to make the extra pass.
Tried to find Feifel as he comes running off the field. Hellman, of course, Tommy Hellman is on his way, the senior midi, to Air Force out in Colorado Springs.
And get a little pressure on the long stick. Pressing down the side here. If they can, they're going to try to make it so nobody else can get the ball.
There's Matt
Oh,
Reagan.
boy.
Reagan brings it out, and Yorktown will reset as Tim O'Callahan has the ball, and he gets it to Spencer Norris.
Tim's one of those multi-sport athletes at Yorktown. He's an all-section soccer player as well.
Oh, wow.
Great forward.
Here's Norris, the sophomore, up top. He shoots, sails wide of the far post. Yorktown retains possession. Reese Andrews. Ball's on the turf. And it's scooped up by Pierce Hoyta, and that will do it for the first half, and a pretty entertaining first half between two quality programs, Darien and Yorktown. Right now, the Blue Wave lead at the half, 4-2. We will take a break, and we will be back with second half action on the DAF Media Network. Again, Darien leads 4-2.
Grab your retro yacht attire and escape with the Darien Foundation to our Rock the Yacht benefit on April 27th. There'll be dancing to sing-along hits from the 70s and 80s performed by Yacht Rock Review. The seaside setting and water views at the Tokenie Club make the perfect summer kickoff. Since 1998, the Darien Foundation has awarded more than $4 million in grants to benefit and enhance our community. For more information and to buy tickets, go to darienfoundation.org.
Since our founding in 1998, we've provided more than $4 million in grants to the Darien Emergency Services, public schools, and community organizations.
My husband and I are so happy to be raising our 4 young children in Darien. Over the years, I have admired the projects that the Darien Foundation has supported, and I'm excited to be a member of the board helping to further support the Foundation's mission. Kids' eyes light up when they talk about learning and eating in the edible garden at Tokenie School. And as a family, we've had so much fun watching varsity field hockey and lacrosse games under the Darien High School stadium lights. It certainly gives us peace of mind to know that if and when the next storm hits town, the Darien Library will always have power thanks to the Darien Foundation providing a generator.
As a resource, the Darien Foundation is unique within Fairfield County and indeed unique on a national level. For 20 years, the Darien Foundation has been investing in Darien and offering our community organizations, emergency services, and schools a local resource to help them pursue innovation and excellence. Thank you for supporting the Darien Foundation. We are building a better Darien together.
We are back here on the DAF Media Network, about to start the second half. Darien, Yorktown, season opener for the Blue Wave. Wave up 4-2 here in what has become the Tom Leonard Memorial game between these two rivals, non-conference, out of state. They've been playing this game for a while now. Dates back to the 80s. And it is a beautiful afternoon. Damian Andrew alongside Jim Book, the former Duke star, and Yorktown Athletic Director Rob Barrett joining you. And thanks so much for being with us. And the ball is on the turf, and it's scooped up by Darien. Blue Wave in the home whites. They will be moving from left to right on your screen here. Yorktown in the green with the black shorts moving from right to left. Here's Michael Minikis with the ball, and Darien sets up shop here for the first time in the second half.
So I found out I was trading texts with Dom Finn over at halftime there, and apparently the Boyer kid, who's a sophomore long stick, is a captain. I think it's the first, he said it's the first ever sophomore captain. So I didn't realize that that he had achieved that. So, you know, I know we were talking about him in the first half, but that's quite an achievement, especially for a sophomore.
Yeah, and that comes from his teammates. They do a voting process there, which speaks to what they think of him as a young man.
That's just great. It's fantastic. Well, hopefully, maybe we'll get him in Duke blue instead of that Notre Dame stuff.
Well, either one would be a great choice, I'm sure.
Well, actually, these days, I'm sort of more the navy blue and gold, right? That's those are some colors that I think would look pretty good on him too. So.
And there's some green in there too, which would make it right at home. So.
And that shot sails over the crossbars, deflected. The shot by Jackson Peters near the far side of the field. Here's Minikis at X, and Darien moving it around here. Hellman goes to work.
This is my first time doing this, and my friend Bill Kirby suggested I try to take some stats, and I wish I was doing that. I'm not quite sure how we're doing in face-off so far. I've sort of been too focused on the action to really be thinking about the statistics, but it seemed like Darien's been doing pretty well on the face-offs, and you know that was a question mark I think coming in this year, because you had Tanner Strube who'd done it for so long, and this year, you know, they got Matty Freeman. They got a few guys down the line who can take face-offs, which is good.
Matt Freeman and Dubray are.
Now you can see Colin Rupenstein here has really come on this year. He was trying to bring a short stick on. You just saw Yorktown on a very, again, mature, smart lacrosse guys figure out how to jump a long stick onto that so they don't get ISO'd on the short stick back there. So it's a nice switch by them. And it's going to be Yorktown ball.
So it'll be Yorktown possession here. Noah Dubray, the other face-off man for Darien. Coach Braymeyer, in our conversation yesterday before this season opener,
that's a great pass.
Talked a lot about the importance of face-off.
That's a tremendous outlet pass by that goalie. I mean, he just threw that on a rope about 60 yards.
And that's going to go back to Yorktown.
Tell you one thing, I didn't expect this to be 4-2 at halftime. So lower scoring game than I would have expected.
Yeah.
But I guess it's, you know,
it's early season.
Early season.
Defenses are usually ahead of the curve, right?
Can't blame the weather, though.
No.
Can't blame the weather at all.
That's
beautiful.
A great check.
Nice check. Ball's on
Connor
the turf.
Olsen right there. Very nice job.
And
Senior Connor's headed to Denison, along with who else is headed to Denison? There's one more on the team who's headed to Denison.
We'll go through. Hudson Bacorny headed to Washington and Lee. Jackson Peters headed to Navy now. And Tommy Hellman, as we've talked for a while.
Charlie Walsh.
Charlie Walsh.
I think
Denison.
He's headed to Denison, yes.
Hellman headed to Air Force. Of course, Henry Feifel to Drexel. Bruce Ferguson to Colgate. Ryan Darby is going to go to Colby. Tyler Strube is going to UMass. A number, as we mentioned in the first half, a number of high school athletes on the field this afternoon headed to play college lacrosse.
Sorry to cut you off there.
And that is a goal. Sorry, Rod. That's a goal by Feifel from distance as he's able to beat O'Meara on the bounce shot. And we're going to take another look at this from behind the cage. Moving to his left
Yeah, that's that open set that they get in, and it allows that alley dodge, and just allows them to play free form, and they've really got it dialed in. They like that offensive set. Sorry, Coach, you were going to say.
No, you were saying you have a young man going to UMass, and we also have a young man going to UMass.
Great.
So they'll be teammates next year. That's
Excellent.
kind of fun.
Excellent. Well, they probably know each other now. Like social media and everything, they all get to know each other before they show up. And I'll watch in the handshake line. I'm sure they'll say hello to each other.
So as an administrator, that's one of the positives of social media.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yorktown now moving from right to left. And here's Borges as that shot by Dalkey sails wide of the far post. Nice defense that time by Jack Bogdan.
Tell you, it's neat too to watch this varsity team play. Especially, I've been helping out with the freshmen. I don't know if you mentioned that, but we've got a lot of younger brothers. So we got a Feifel.
Yeah.
We've got a Strube. We've got another Minicus. So the fourth one coming along.
He is the final
guppy,
one.
The guppy, right?
And of course, the Minicus's mom, Mo, is the longtime field hockey coach here at Darien, and has done a unbelievable job with that program. Always seem to be in the mix for conference and state championships. We're talking lacrosse this afternoon here, Stadium Field on the campus of Darien High School.
Yorktown's giving us a look. They're going with the same set that we were going with. So.
Here's Borges, Blake.
Blake will be the starting quarterback, I think, for the football team in the fall, from what I hear.
He's a junior this year?
He's a leading candidate. No, he's a sophomore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big guy for a sophomore.
Yeah, he got some playing time in the backup role this year, so I think they're looking for him to do great things here in the fall as well. You can tell by his physicality.
Ball's on the turf, and that goes across the goal line. That is going to be a goal for Yorktown.
Yeah, he'd love to get this one back, but sometimes it happens. I think it got checked out of it. So we'll take a look here, but just a slow roller, got over the line. I don't know if we can get that replay.
Yorktown rather cuts the Darien lead to 2 again, and that trickles across the goal line. As here we go, we're going to take another look at it right here. And it goes
I think it was checked out of his stick.
Yep.
That'll work. Goes up on the scoreboard.
Yep, and Borges is credited with the goal. Here's Darien, though. They win possession. Feifel on the near side of the field to Minicus. And here's Picorni.
We got a Picorni on the freshman team as well. So.
Now, do you buy into the youngest brother's always the best one theory that people have?
Well, since I was a younger brother, I guess I should say yes, of course. But look, they're all great. It's been fun to watch Michael play. Actually, it's to a certain extent, Brian's a wonderful kid and everything. You're still in your brother's shadow until your brother gets out of the way.
Yep.
So now he's not in his brother's shadow, and he can take a little bit of the sunshine. So it's good.
Jackson Peters, Feifel. There's Tommy Hellman. And nice save by O'Meara. O'Meara has made some really nice stops in this one, Rob. The senior playing well this afternoon here in Darien.
Yeah, he's kind of been doing that all season for us, keeping us, where we need to be defensively, and kind of bailing out some bad plays occasionally.
There's Dalkey.
Yorktown's also one of those programs that I'll tell you, there's people who are all over the college landscape who played there. I think about Billy Dwan, obviously the Carcateras are very, very much involved. I
was just reading an article on Twitter this morning about our kid from last year, Brett Makar, who graduated, and he's one of only a few Maryland defensemen to start as a freshman.
There you go.
And he's been starting every single game. And talk about how quickly he adapted to the college game. And I think it's playing in games like this, when you're playing kids that are constantly going to big-time schools, it kind of prepares you.
We saw Makar last year. That's a goal for Yorktown as Alex DeBenedictis dials one up, the junior attack, the left-hander, and he lets it fly. And now we've got a one-goal game here. Darien up 5-4 at 4:33 left in the third as we take another look at the DeBenedictis goal.
Again, another situation where it's a smart team, little broken play. They get the ball hot. They're very comfortable in what they're doing. They are lacrosse players who know how to play the transition game. So Yorktown's a good team, always is.
I'll tell you, we're in a little different story than we were last year in the third quarter when we were taking it on the chin, and they had to come back from way back in the fourth quarter there to try and make a game of it. So
third quarter was a big reason why Darien won that game. Went on a 6-0 run in the third, and Yorktown made it close late, going on a 4-0 run of their own in the fourth quarter. Ends at 13-11. That's a goal for Darien as Colin Rupenstein.
Rupenstein, I've been waiting to say something about him. I got to watch him play in the fall a couple times, and I'll tell you, he's, I think most people would tell you, sort of came out of nowhere. He's had some injuries that he's been dealing with, but that shot right there, he gets to his strong hand, and he can really torque his body and put something on the shot there. So he's gotten himself bigger and stronger, and he's really starting to play well.
Yeah, and you mentioned him. Coach B mentioned him too, and how pleasantly surprised he's been as he's developed.
The other thing I love, Damien, is, again, and you've seen these guys. You're so great with what you do with these guys, but you get some seniors who get to show up in Darien, and they just by sheer numbers they haven't been able to get a lot of time. You think about guys like Andrew Bogdan, and who get out here. I mean, he's made about 6 plays today. I don't think we've necessarily mentioned his name because he's doing all the smart stuff and making the smart plays,
right.
Coming up with ground balls on the defensive end and transitioning the ball safely. But you love to see seniors having senior years.
Yep. That's what you expect out of them as seniors, especially in a program or programs like this, like these two on display this afternoon. Damian Andrew, Jim Book, Rob Barrett joining you. Thanks for joining us on the DAF Media Network, and we want to give a quick shout out to our DAF Media production crew. Have not done that yet this afternoon. Camera 1, Matthew Burke. Camera 2, Harrison Bell, doing a great job on our ISO camera, bringing you those instant replays. Our director is Danny Owenati, and our instant replay coordinator is Sarah Bogdan. So the Bogdan family doing work this afternoon here at Stadium Field.
Wow, it really is, and it is a tremendous compliment to them. Those guys, I don't know what the full staff is. Oh, here we go. Darien's on a fast break. That's Bruce Ferguson. All right, smartly pulls it out because the long stick got in. Again, a smart play there by Yorktown. They took advantage of that 20-yard substitution box, and that went from a fast break to no fast break very quickly because they were smart enough to step off and take advantage of the large box to get somebody in and stop the fast break. So Darien will try to set something up here.
Ball's in the air. Minikis near it. And it's going to be scooped up by Chris Perino. Actually, it's going to be out of bounds, and it'll be Darien ball. So Minikis.
To your point earlier, Coach, about seniors, I think the quality of depth that these two teams have is the key that separates us from other teams that we play.
Yep.
And having those kids, take the active leadership role and know the history of the program from the 4 years that they've been here, kind of sets the tone for the younger guys to learn and
no doubt.
Be ready when they get there.
Here's Feifel. Scoop shot there by Rupenstein.
So I was going to say these guys in the DAF media who are doing this, I want to pay them tribute. I mean, and yourself as well, Damien, and Bruce, who's very active. The quality of this production, just there's the actual quality, like the resolution of the pick, but just the quality of the production is so great. And we watch all these games in college that get live streamed, and we're just so fortunate, so lucky. It's such a great community building event because, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've got some problems, but I'll be caught. I'll be caught sitting there watching a replay of one of the field hockey games, and my wife will come in and be like, "What are you watching field hockey for?" I'm like, it's like we don't even have anybody who ever played field. Well, actually, my daughter played at one point, but it's just great. It's really neat. It's a great way. It brings the whole community together. It's a neat thing to do. It's great for the alumni.
And that is a goal for Darien as Hudson Picorni scores. I believe that's number 2 on the afternoon for Picorni, and Darien extends its lead after Yorktown cut it to 1, 7-4 here. Nice look. Picorni, ball fake as Hellman finds Picorni. And then a nice ball fake there. He goes low.
Yeah, and that's Tommy Hellman's he's a smart player, and he just senses when the defense is a little bit broken there, and he's got a short stick, and he just presses right away, which makes it very hard for Yorktown to find everybody inside so quickly. So it was a great, smart play by both of them. They're really on the same wavelength there.
Jim, I want to thank you for the kind words. This has really taken off, and we've got over 40 students involved in some way, shape, or form, and whether they've done one production or 30 productions, they have been involved, and we're still trying to grow that. But it's been a great venture, and I can't say enough about the Darien Athletic Foundation, and the Darien Foundation now have combine their efforts to make DAF media possible, and I think we're onto something. But certainly a lot of people, like you mentioned, Bruce Ferguson, have been heavily involved and have just done a tremendous job, and it's been a lot of fun for me. And actually, Rob knows last year is when we unveiled the instant replay at Yorktown. So
that's right.
We tried that. We had a few hiccups. You could hear the announcers talking in slow motion and rewind when we did the instant replay, but other than that, everything went well.
That's a great heads-up play there.
And here's Feifel, and he shoots at the buzzer, and it's 7-4 Darien at the end of the third quarter. We will take a quick break, and we will be back with more live field hockey on the DAF. Oh, I'm sorry, lacrosse. Thank you.
I got you confused.
You got me covered. You got my back. We'll be back with more live varsity boys lacrosse on the DAF Media Network.
Grab your retro yacht attire and escape with the Darien Foundation to our Rock the Yacht benefit on April 27th. They'll be dancing to sing-along hits from the 70s and 80s, performed by Yacht Rock Review. The seaside setting and water views at the Tokenie Club make the perfect summer kickoff. Since 1998, the Darien Foundation has awarded more than $4 million in grants to benefit and enhance our community. For more information and to buy tickets, go to darienfoundation.org.
And we are back live here on the DAF Media Network. Damian Andrew, Jim Book, and Rob Barrett joining you. Thanks for joining us on a beautiful sun-splashed afternoon here in Darien, Connecticut. Ball's on the turf here. And who wants it, as we've got a scrum near the 30-yard line. And that is going to be Yorktown possession. Yorktown now here in the fourth quarter, moving from left to right. Darien from right to left. Yorktown in the dark green uniforms with the white numbers, and Darien in the home whites with the blue numbers. And here we go now. Tim O'Callahan on the dodge, and bounce shot is no good. Wide of the far post. Here's Demopoulos.
Damien, one of the things we should mention, so you see this guy is about to get the ball. Jamison Moore right here is a sophomore going with the ball.
Yep.
His father, Glenn Moore, is a Darien born and raised. I think he was the first ever full scholarship athlete to come out of Darien for lacrosse. Played at Georgetown, was captain down there. Glenn and I coached together for years and years and years, and has been a tremendous support with the youth program all the way along. So it's neat to see his crew coming up through the food chain.
Through the ranks, yeah,
absolutely.
no, absolutely. Here's Minikis. I did not know that about Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Minikis, the first in a long line, then, you would say.
Yes, indeed.
And that ball scooped up by Picorni. And Darien will go back on the attack here. Hudson Picorni with the ball. Comes from behind the cage. Feifel fires one. It's defended well by Yorktown. And here's Holt Mathias. His older brother Case was so good at X, right? That's
absolutely
such a dynamic player
absolutely.
From that spot. Hellman now flips it to Feifel. Yorktown's defense trying to lock down here as we are underway in the fourth quarter.
Feifel's got it. See, Yorktown's just smart to jump out on Henry there. Henry Feifel thought he was going to be able to take a short stick behind, which is the honeypot for him. But they were smart and recognized it and jumped a long stick out on him right away. So
Holt Mathias.
And again, Holt thought he was going to get the luck of having a shorty to go on.
Out to Hellman. That ball sails out of bounds. It'll stay with Darien. And we've got a timeout on the field. We will take a quick timeout, and we will be back with more live lacrosse on the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Okay, we are back here live on the DAF Media Network. Darien up 7-4 on Yorktown. 9:25 left in the fourth quarter. Henry Feifel with the ball. And that shot is good. The bounce shot by Jackson Peters finds the back of the net, and Darien finds itself with an 8-4 lead now.
Just a great shot right there. I mean, a smart, sort of, I don't know if that was necessarily a drawn-up play, but it's a good look. Catches it basically into his back foot, gets a real quick release with a good high bounce shot to the upper corner. So it's a great shot.
I just want to give kudos again to our ISO camera operator here, Harrison Bell, a freshman here at Darien High School, who has done a terrific job on that camera, bringing us those ISOs, instant replay. Really nice work from him. And here we are back at face-off X. And it's won by Freeman. Freeman has done a nice job this afternoon.
Yes,
and
indeed.
as you mentioned earlier in the first half, that was a little bit maybe of a question mark coming into this one.
Right.
You got a new face-off specialist, and so far he has held his own. And we've got a timeout once again on the field. We will keep it here, though. Damian Andrew, Jim Book, and Rob Barrett joining you as we take a look at the Darien huddle. Year number 36 for Coach B.
It's incredible.
Unbelievable, really.
Well, you were talking about him before, and he remains a student of the game. It's really impressive. I've been able to watch very closely since we moved into town, which was in 2002. But I was certainly paying attention to him before that, and just to see his systems, the way that he gets his team going, the way that they practice. There's a real knowledge of their system that comes up, and he's constantly tweaking it. I'll tell you, I'm trying to help with the freshmen, trying to put the stuff in. It's great. It's free form. It's a good way of playing the game of lacrosse, and but he's sort of got a wrinkle for every single thing. He's drawing up a play right now. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, the best coaches are always the ones that want to continue to learn.
Absolutely.
I'm a basketball guy by nature.
Right.
John Wooden says that it's what you learn after you know it all that counts.
Absolutely.
So the guys who want to continue to work at their game and their craft are the guys that are going to have the type of success that your programs have had.
And the game changes, and the style of the game changes. You think about somebody like Coach K. The way that basketball is being played now is different than it was 15, 20 years ago.
Recruiting is different.
Absolutely.
But some of the numbers, you throw out 13 state championships for Darien under Coach Braymeyer, 17 FCAC championships. In fact, they're the 5-time defending conference champs in the FCAC, so they'll go for number 6 this season. And, of course, their big rival New Canaan with another good team again this season. And we are underway now here, coming off the timeout. But just some impressive numbers that the Darien program has put up. Have to mention the 76-game win streak, which was ended in the state finals last year. Darien losing to Ridgefield in the Class L state finals 9-8.
Yeah, and that's a sore spot, obviously, for a lot of guys in Darien. And people talk about the possession clock and all that,
Right.
Hey, it's in a weird way, I think it's good for these guys. Get that pressure off of them. Let them play. Let them make their own story and their own season. They don't have to think about that. So we've got a flag down on the field here. I think Darien's got we've got one too many on the field. So this will be a technical. Yorktown can play this until Darien comes up with the ball, or until there's a shot or some situation where it goes out of bounds.
And there we go.
Well, we might have 2 flags now. We'll take a look here and listen to what they say.
So since we're talking a little of your history here, I'd have to give out a shout out to Charlie Murphy, obviously the founder of the Yorktown lacrosse program. The boys talk about jerseys before and the colors and stuff, but on jerseys they have the shamrock with the CM there, always paying tribute to him and what he did for the sport of lacrosse in Yorktown.
His legacy, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, our home field named Charlie Murphy Field after him. A reminder every day that where it started and where the roots are. So, I never personally met the man, but I've only heard unbelievable things about him.
Well,
so.
It's incredible. I know there's a tremendous tribute to him. Well, there's been a lot of tremendous tributes to him, but you can see some quotes. I think it was something related to the Charlie Murphy Cup that they play, and you've got all these alumni just talking about how they felt like they spent their time at his house, growing up at his house.
Yeah, they speak to him
had problems
as a father, like a father.
Absolutely, they had problems. They went to Coach Murphy's house, and just a tremendous guy who did tremendous things for the game. So Darien's down 2 men here. I actually was listening to you, so I wasn't watching that closely. I know we got a 30-second technical foul at least. I'm not sure what the second foul was. It's either it was either an illegal body check or another push with possession. So it might just be 2 30-second technical fouls.
And there's a shot that
Great hustle by Andy Demopoulos right there to come up with the ball. Just a heads-up play by him. Yorktown is up above the goal line because they had 2 men up, so they wanted to get as many shooters in front of the goal as they could. So Andy had a
And that's a goal for Yorktown. Looked like it was through the 5-hole there. Reese Andrews scores for the Huskers.
Yep, another broken situation that Yorktown jumped on top of. And again, that's that lax IQ coming through. Where they're able to sense that, understand they have numbers, press the ball forward, get it from a 4-on-3 to a 3-on-2 to a 2-on-1. So nice job by Yorktown there.
He goes low and is able to beat Demopoulos. Demopoulos in great position. Yep. In the back of the net. And here we are, Williams and Freeman facing off here. 8-5 Darien.
Right. Got a play on situation here. Yep. So the ref will put his hand up and say play on. That basically allows Yorktown to continue to try to come up with the ball. It's a loose ball push, and they'll let them continue to play because if they get the ball, they don't want to stop their momentum on a fast break. But as soon as they didn't get it right away, or as soon as Darien were to come up with it, it would have blown the whistle. It goes back to Yorktown. No foul.
Yeah, I was just going to say no
push.
foul on that.
Yep. No time served, I should say.
Yep. So here's Yorktown now. Under 7 minutes left as they go on the attack, and they score as Tim O'Callahan, the junior midi, buries one in the back of the net, goes high.
Tim O'Callahan, I saw him once before at X. He's got tremendous lateral movement, quick, shifty. And he went to work on that short stick over there, and really, Bogdan's playing pretty good defense here. I mean, doesn't give him much. Finds a way to step back, get his hands free, low to high. It's a tough shot.
Yep.
He's a kid that's going to have an opportunity to play either soccer or lacrosse at the next level at some point here.
Yeah.
Very, very, very good.
It's a good problem to have.
All the stuff you hear about the, how the two-sport athlete is down. I'm glad. I don't think that's true, and glad to see. You got guys like Connor Olson, senior as well, who's played a soccer career here. A lot of these guys, multi-sport athletes, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication for sure. But
that's obviously been a big conversation, right, over the last 10 years, that specialization. I think, to your point, we are coming back to seeing more multi-sport athletes, and I think ultimately it's a good thing.
Or at the very least, cross-training, so that you're not hitting those overuse injuries as much.
Yep.
All right, so if this goes over, all right, that's an over and back call. That's a rule that basically if the ball comes back over the midfield line, it's automatically Darien's ball. So
that's new?
It's new in the last few years, I'd say 3-4 years at least.
It's like basketball, though.
Yeah.
Backcourt,
yeah. And frankly, I'm not sure if I think they may have taken it out in the college game. I'm not certain about this, but on the men's side, most of the lacrosse I've been watching these days, it's been the women's game, but because they have a possession clock, I don't think the over and back rule is still in place, but I'm not sure.
How do you like the shot clock in college?
I think it's great. It's great. Holt gets free.
Holt Mathias gets in on the scoring. He's fired up as he pumps his fist.
Makes a smart play there. The feed comes to him. Smart enough to take a couple extra steps, get some angle, and also get in front of that defenseman. Gets himself a lot of angle to shoot at a full 36 square feet of net.
He just had a great look.
Absolutely.
Breaks
Good,
down the defense here with his feet and puts Darien up 9-6.
Tell you, 3-goal game. 3-goal game in the game of lacrosse is really nothing. I mean, you can rattle off three mighty quick. So.
Yep.
Looks like
5:26, a lot of time.
Yorktown faceoff guy must have flinched there. I didn't see it myself, but.
So we've got a violation. It'll be Darien ball. And here's Minikis to Picorni.
Darien's still trying to get their offensive unit on the field. Jackson Peters.
Ball's on the turf. And Hellman comes up with it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. That's Boyer right there coming up,
Yeah.
a little gimpy.
Looked like they banged knees there.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's okay. He's still in the game.
He's moving a little ginger, though.
Yep.
There's Minikis up top.
Yeah, so Minikis, we'll see. They're going to see if they, as they jump a pull on him. Minikis was going to try to take the short stick behind there, but Yorktown's wise to it. Okay, so here we go. So we got 2 short. Oh, see, they got the switch.
Minikis.
They got play on call. All right, he got pushed in the back. And again, they didn't blow the whistle right away because they give Darien the chance to pick the ball up, which they don't. And then when Yorktown came up with it, they blow the whistle. So
And
just,
again, no
just
time
Darien's
served
ball.
on
Correct.
this.
It's a loose ball push. A push with possession is a 30-second technical.
Darien looks to attack the Yorktown defense here. Jackson Peters, and that's a goal.
Wow.
Peters on the run, so dangerous, and he scores, and it's 10-6. Darien with under 4 minutes left. Nice move here by Peters.
Runs through that first check, right? Takes the check, absorbs it, keeps his feet moving, keeps driving towards the goal, gives himself a little bit more angle. He has a chance to stick that. Very good placement.
So it's Williams and Freeman back at face-off X here. 10-6, Darien up by 4 goals. And the Wave wins possession.
Blake Seller comes up with a great ground ball there. Again, another senior just showing up. Great ground ball on the face-off there. Very good. Very good to get a long stick who can come up with a ball in traffic like that.
There's Ferguson now. Bruce Ferguson with the ball. Hands it off to Ryan Darby. And now Jack Bogdan on the far side of the field as he looks to go. And that shot is wide by Minikis. Picorni scoops it up.
He took a hit.
He did. Nice feed there. Picorni to Cooper Hancock, the senior attack. Cooper Hancock.
Love his story.
The quarterback of the Darien football team this past season. Wins the starting job going into his senior year. Nice look there.
There's another senior too, and I don't know if you know Damien, but he hadn't played the last couple of years. And, you know, these are his buddies, his pals, and, you know, he wanted to play again, and he was embraced by his team and welcomed back. And, you know, I'll tell you, he's a great player. He's going to go to Sewanee.
Sewanee, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I know they got a lacrosse program there too. I'm sure the lacrosse coach would love to see that kid running around on the field.
He's going there to play football, but certainly you never know. Could play football and perhaps lacrosse when they see him when he gets down there. He has a younger brother, Bo, who is involved with DAF Media, also a football player.
Coop, you know, I was talking to his father, and I was watching him in preseason. I said, well, is he a righty or is he a lefty? He's like, it's like he swings a baseball bat with his right hand. He plays golf with his left hand. He's, you know, he's one of those guys you'd say is amphibious, right?
That's not a bad problem to have.
That was a joke, amphibious.
So here we go. Darien now up 11-6, under 3 minutes left. Henry Feifel. Now the clock certainly becomes a factor,
yes,
Jim.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Uh-oh.
You get 5 goals in less than 2 minutes, I think is pretty tight. Darien will try to be careful with it here. Frankly, I'm going to check my knowledge again. I don't know if they have to keep it in the box in the last 2 minutes if they have a lead. It certainly used to be a rule, but they've changed the rules so many times now that I'm not sure.
I think it is a rule of some sort that they have to be on
Defenseman
attack.
there looked like he pulled up a little gimpy. Is that? Oh no, he's all right. I thought maybe This looked like he was maybe holding his hamstring a little bit.
I was just saying hello to John Humphrey, whose daughters are terrific lacrosse players in their own right. One going to North Carolina, the other going to Stanford. And they will both play for head coach Lisa Lindley this spring.
I don't know if you know John, but John was a tremendous hoop player.
Well, I'm going to do you one better. John, whenever I see him, because he's done some, he's commentated on some games during the basketball season, and I always welcome him in by saying, and still the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Middlebury men's basketball program.
Yep.
And he always tells me, he always answers me back, I was a volume shooter. Here's Dalkey with possession behind the cage.
As a former basketball player, I always say you only shoot twice.
That's right.
When you're hot and you're trying to get hot.
And that's a goal for Yorktown. No goal.
Yeah.
It's waved off.
Well, there's the ref threw a flag. Another little discussion here. I think the question is whether he was pushed with possession into the crease. The crease dive has come back in the college game, but not the high school game. So if he's diving into the crease, certainly no goal. I'm not quite sure what they'll call here.
Jim, I'm looking at Andy Demopoulos, has done a nice job. First game of the season, the sophomore goalie, but pretty good backup, too, in Xander Shutterboom, correct?
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the play here. Yeah, I think they're going to call Tommy Hellman for a push there with possession before he went into the crease. I think that's what the flag was for.
We'll take another look at it here.
Sort of got to figure out which came first.
How great is this angle?
It's just tremendous. In the slow motion, I mean, look at that. Yeah, he gets the shot off in the ball.
5-hole.
Ball, it was very close anyways, but since he had gone into the crease before the ball was in the back of the net, that probably shouldn't be a goal. Okay, they're giving him the goal.
So it is a goal.
They're giving him the goal and saying that he was pushed. So in other words, that's sort of a flag down situation. The goal counts. A little confused by that myself. Looks like Coach B is asking the same question I am, which is sort of got to be one or the other. Makes a nice strong move.
Goal credited to number 45, Blake Borges.
So Blake Borges will be credited with the goal, and it's 11-7 now as we take another look at that.
Yeah, the one thing, I don't know if you notice, that move with the crease dive, it puts the goalies at risk so badly, because if he comes into the goalie's knee, the goalie's active in there on their feet, and if that guy comes in on the leg or the knee the wrong way, it can get really bad injuries.
Well, he appears to be okay, but he came up a little gingerly, did Demopoulos.
Yeah. So I'm a little surprised by the outcome there, but so it was a technical foul, loose ball push. The goal then eliminates that, so we're back to an even face-off here.
And it's Williams of Yorktown and Freeman at face-off X. And Freeman wins it.
Timeout.
I think we have a timeout by Sean Carney.
Yep. That's really a possession-saving timeout.
Yep.
There's 51 seconds left. You never say never. You never say never. But trying to hold on to possession there because he sensed that Matty Freeman had good pursuit on him and didn't want to give up the ball right there. So
we will take a really quick break. We'll be back with more live boys varsity lacrosse here on the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Darien leads with 51.5 seconds left, 11-7.
Grab your retro yacht attire and escape with the Darien Foundation to our Rock the Yacht benefit on April 27th. They'll be dancing to sing-along hits from the 70s and 80s, performed by Yacht Rock Review. The seaside setting and water views at the Tokenie Club make the perfect summer kickoff. Since 1998, the Darien Foundation has awarded more than $4 million in grants to benefit and enhance our community. For more information and to buy tickets, go to DarienFoundation.org.
We are back live here on the DAF Media Network, 11-7 Darien with 51.5 seconds left in this one. Live here from Stadium Field on the Darien High School campus. Damian Andrew, Jim Book, Rob Barrett joining you. And here we go as Yorktown with possession here. Here's Borges, Blake Borges, the sophomore midi. Reese Andrews at X behind the cage. And the shot is stopped by Demopoulos. Tim O'Callahan with the shot there.
That was interference, basically. They're going to say that he was too far away from the loose ball. The Yorktown player initiated contact with the Darien player, and he was further than 5 yards from the wall. The ball was up in the air, so it's probably the right call. But
tough call this late in the game.
Tough call this late in the game, yes.
So under 20 seconds left, and Darien is going to come away with a season-opening victory against an always tough and always game Yorktown Huskers team. Hellman just tosses that back into play, and that will do it for this one as the Darien Blue Wave win their season opener 11-7. Yorktown will fall to 2-1, their first loss of the season, as they step out of state, out of conference to play the Blue Wave. And we are going to take a look back at the highlights from this one if we can. Our director back there, Danny Owenati, if he can cue those up for us, and we will take a look back at the highlights from this one. Here we go. Here's Minikis with a bounce shot to get things started as we take another angle from behind the cage. Take a look at that. Such a great angle. Here's Darien again as the Blue Wave jumped out to an early lead. Feifel scores.
Tell you, two great overhand shots on both of those. For all the younger players out there, pay attention to the shooting position these guys get.
And then Dalkey rips one from up top, the senior attack. As we take another look at this from behind the cage, beats Demopoulos. And that made it 2-1 Darien, and that's the way it stood after the first quarter, and then the Blue Waves strike here in the second.
Yeah, that's that goal we were looking at before. He's going on a short stick there. I tell you, Henry Feifel coming off the wing on a short stick it's not really a fair fight. He's got the ability to get his hands free. Throws a nice little box fake there to move the defender.
And we were a little late on this one. That was a goal here. We're taking another look at it. This is Picorni, right side of your screen, and he just buries it as he beats O'Meara. And here's from behind the Darien goal. Demopoulos fired up. And then how about this?
Yeah.
The long pole.
Just senses the middle of the field is open and everybody's pressing out on the attack thinking he's going to give up the ball, and he says, no, sir.
That's Keith Boyer, the sophomore. He scores there on the run, and here is Feifel. Another blast. Feifel with a big game for Darien in his season opener.
Just a bounce shot to that offside hip. It's just so tough. And here's that little dribbler that went in. Demopoulos probably going to beat himself up over that. Probably shouldn't. It's just unlucky.
Here's Yorktown again. They
Great
score
shot.
there. Nice shot that time by Alex De Benedictis. De Benedictis, say that name 3 times fast, Rob, huh?
I'd like to have said it a couple more times today for sure.
There's Reese, there is Colin Rupenstein, who you were happy to see him get in on the scoring, Jim.
Certainly, yep. Tell you, they're going to have it's going to be a fun group to watch this year. You know, a lot of guys who coming in with not a lot of fanfare, but they play well as a team. They really do.
It's one of those things where you can't sleep on Darien. They graduate 6 All-Americans, including their goalie, Sean Collins, who did such a terrific job as a one-year senior starter last year, just came in and played lights out. And, they come off that loss to Ridgefield, and then people think, well, Darien might be a little bit down, transition year, but in a program like this, as with Yorktown, there's not a lot of rebuilding. You tend to reload year in and year out.
I'd say there's a lot of similarities from last year to our year too. Same thing, not winning at all, and then graduating a large group and on some unknowns, and that's why I think both coaches would say they like these early season games.
Yeah, don't confuse unknowns with not goods.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Great point. Great point.
So many of these guys are just the only reason they haven't played is because there were guys in front of them. That's it. Otherwise, they'd be playing.
Great point. I want to give a shout out to our DAF Media production crew as we take a look at the highlights here. Sarah Bogdan, Danny Owenati did a terrific job in the press box in our control room, and our camera 1 operator Matthew Burke and Harrison Bell on the ISO camera did just a terrific job bringing us some of those slow motion replays, that instant replay. He was lights out on that camera.
That's just great stuff. How do these guys whip this up so quickly?
Well, we found
stay here for another 20 minutes. If we
Danny Owenati found a little list, and we can just rattle them off as we take a look at the replays. But I want to thank you, Jim Book. I want to thank you, Rob Barrett, for hopping on. This has been great. A beautiful day. We couldn't have asked for a better weather day, that's for sure. So for our entire DAF Media production crew, Danny, Sarah, Matthew, and Harrison, for Rob Barrett and Jim Book, I am Damian Andrew. This has been a production of the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Once again, Darien wins its season opener over Yorktown, 11-7. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Take care.
Grab your retro yacht attire and escape with the Darien Foundation to our Rock the Yacht benefit on April 27th. They'll be dancing to sing-along hits from the 70s and 80s performed by Yacht Rock Review. The seaside setting and water views at the Tokenie Club make the perfect summer kickoff. Since 1998, the Darien Foundation has awarded more than $4 million in grants to benefit and enhance our community. For more information and to buy tickets, go to darienfoundation.org.